what do we have here today? Now, Scribe Light, I like to think of as kind of a buddy. We used to do live streams together. And what does he come out with today? Another TEDXellence talk. This time with a man called Matt Boyer. Now, Matt, he's a good-looking guy, right? He's an athlete. He's probably in a frat, right? He's probably got women throwing themselves at him. Or does he? He's got a resume here on LinkedIn. What did he do? He's a student at the College of William and Mary in Virginia. And he did a TEDx talk, and he actually puts it in his resume on LinkedIn. Okay, I guess when you're young, you got to put what you can. TEDx speaker, and this gem is entitled Gender Inequality and the Case for College Accountability. Now, what is Matt, do you suppose, majoring in? You think it's engineering, perhaps? Medicine? It's going to be a lawyer? It's going to be a doctor? No. Matt is pursuing a double major in government and public policy. It's men like this. He's a young guy. He's probably 18, 19, 20. This is our future, guys. He will be writing us our Social Security checks in 20 years. And that ought to scare the living shit out of you. I'm going to jump in at 2:34. I'm just going to kind of roll and see what happens here. Let's see what Matt has to say and how disgusting a man can be begging for the Poonyata. Tell us, Matt, how bad women have it.
Men talking over women. Men brushing women's opinions off.
Matt, men also brush men's opinions off if the opinions suck. I'm just saying. You see, if a woman has an opinion and she tells it to another woman, automatically in your freaking fantasy world, it's from a woman. It's perfect. We cannot dismiss that opinion. See, if she tells it to another woman, immediately it's accepted as cold, hard fact and truth. But if a man hears it, well, we just toss it off because we're evil.
Men keeping women from positions of leadership.
Matt, women can be leaders too.
Men not paying women the same.
Do I have to get the goat?
Men mistreating women, men harassing women, men assaulting women, men...
You see, Matt, all of those things, most of what you mentioned, paying women differently than men because they're women. SA, harassment, grapefruit, all of that shit is illegal, Matt. In case you didn't know. I know you're just a young guy, majoring in shit in college, but you should probably know that grapefruit is illegal. SA is illegal. Paying women differently based upon their sex, Matt, has been illegal since 1963. Go on.
The world in which we live.
This guy is going to be running the government.
A lot of the times we leave our men to pick up on the soft norms of society.
I think he said soft norms of society, but I'll put the link in case you think I'm taking him out of context. I wouldn't want you to think that about the hamster. Go on, Matt.
Instead of sitting them down and telling them to their face how it is.
You mean that all of the things you mentioned so far are fucking illegal, Matt? What more can we do? Do we need to make grapefruit double secret illegal? Is that what you're saying here? Because it makes no sense, Matt. If a woman is mistreated by a man in college or in the streets, there's the Title IX office on the college campus, and there's also the police. Unfortunate things like that are going to happen, Matt. We live in an imperfect world. There are creeps and weirdos that will do these things to women and men. But don't even talk about men because we're all evil.
That they should treat women and what it is that women go through.
Okay, what is it that they go through, Matt? I'd love to hear that.
The other day, I was walking between class and I hear the words, "It's 2020.
Did you notice, Matt, that 58% of your fellow students at William and Mary College are women? I think I smell an inequality. Not what you mean, is that right, Matt?
Why are men such trash?
This was February, so this is before Tommy Lauren, so you may have been first with this one, Matthew.
Good question.
No, it's not.
It's 2020.
Yeah, it's current year. What's your fucking point?
This is a phrase I generally hear when people are fed up with the status quo of some kind.
Men are trash. 2020, got it.
And men are trash.
Women are all perfect and men are all shit, Matt. We get it. We got it.
This is a phrase I generally hear when women are commiserating over some experience where men and trash in the same sentence is understandable.
But of course, Matt, let's not involve women's agency, whom they pick to go out with. Let's not even fucking talk about that. No matter what man they go out with, they're trash, because it's, after all, current year, right? Women, they don't have any agency. They're just all victims. Matt, the fuck, bro?
However, what grounded this comment in my mind was not that but a week earlier I had had two.
Count 'em, two.
Distinct conversations with college women.
Were they your friends?
Both of whom are really good friends of mine.
And so even though he's a big college athlete, swimmer, he's not good enough. And so he's been friend-zoned. Is that right? But wait, you're the nice guy. They should go out with you because you care. Is that about right, Matt?
About how they had been mistreated by college men.
Did the men just walk up off the street and start mistreating them, Matt? Or did these women choose the men that they allegedly were mistreated by? Do you think, Matt, women have no agency? That's kind of sexist, if you consider it.
So at the end of one of these conversations, my friend looks at me and she says, Matt, I don't know who it falls to teach men how they should treat women.
Well, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting discussion we could have. It used to fall to something called the church. It was the men of the community and the men's fathers who told them how to treat women. Unfortunately, your buddies in the feminist movement destroyed all of that. I know, it's men. Somehow it's the fault of men.
But what I do know is that we can't just expect individual men to change.
We can't expect individual men to change. What the fuck am I supposed to do about the guy over there who's a piece of shit that goes out in grapefruit swimming? What am I supposed to do about that, Matt? What am I supposed to do? All I can do is not do that kind of shit. You cannot do that kind of shit. Some creep over there you have nothing to do with, you cannot do anything about it. Which again, it falls to the women to choose better men that don't do these things. I know. Blame the victim. I've heard it all before, Matt. Go on.
And so in the days that followed, all I could help but to hear was her voice saying, we can't just expect individual men to change.
What would be the frigging solution, Matt? How do we change society when 99.999% of men don't treat women like shit? There's only a few that do, Matt. So what the fuck? We're gonna change society? It's systemic, is it? Or something?
And so why is it that I share my friend's experience with college men and this Harvard study?
Because you can't change men individually, I guess.
Well, because it is those college men that go on to perpetuate a world that leaves my friend wondering how men become good men.
I think most men are good men. See, we have a fundamental disagreement. You think all men are trash. I think a few are trash. But go on and tell us, future government leader.
Here, I stand in front of you, a student in college.
Yeah, where there are 58% of your fellow students are women.
An extremely profound setting, a time in which we learn interior and exterior to the walls of our lectures, the last stop before we head out into the world ready to make it our own. The time.
Don't you love the self-importance of young people? We're going to take the world and we're going to blah, blah, blah. Give me a fuck. You're gonna be a drone in an office somewhere, bro. Just like the vast majority of the rest of human beings. Even women, I know.
Is now. I dream of a world where our colleges become centers of social innovation.
Social innovation. I would like to see what that looks like, Matt.
And how they challenge their men to the practice of gender equity each and every day.
It's interesting. We're just going to challenge the men, though, not the women. Because in your mind, Matt, apparently you don't understand that women, too, can be bosses, they can be leaders, they can be CEOs, they can be managers. I would think you are probably one of the biggest sexists I've ever run into. Of course, you don't consider it that way, do you?
Where you see, if we set expectations now, then we change culture for all time forward.
But just for men, though, because women in your brain cannot be leaders. Think about what you're saying, Matt. We need to concentrate on college men because college women are going to be future leaders too. Do you? Oh my God. I'm not sure I could do much more of this.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Increasingly, colleges are enrolling freshmen prior to their arrival on campus.
Shouldn't we be calling it fresh women? Since women outnumber men in college by a ratio of 3 to 2. I know. It's the patriarchy, right? Right, man.
And online modules meant to inform on drinking and sexual violence.
Hey, it's illegal to do that, guys, so do not or you're going to get jail time. What else am I supposed to say, Matt? Okay, I've had enough. You guys can listen to the rest of it. It's just a big pile of hogwash. Men are responsible for all the troubles in the world. Women have no agency. They'll never be leaders, managers, or in positions of power. It's only men that need to be trained because they're the future. Women, he doesn't even know how sexist that makes him sound. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.